Hey everyone, Disaster here. So, like I said, I did want to do movie reviews, so here we are. I'm gonna give it a go, give it my first try. I watch people like Phantom Strider and Saber Spark, and I really like their work, and I enjoy watching their videos, so I wanted to give it a try myself. So, this is exciting. I don't really see the flaws in movies, but this one that I've decided to review, I saw them all and I really wanted to point them out and give my opinions on it. So here we go. First one, and it is called Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle, Netflix original. Compared to Disney's, yeah, Disney's is better in terms of story, way better. The remake, I mean. This one, it was great up until the midway point, and it just absolutely tanked. But I'll get into all of my opinions on the matter right now.
How did it get here?
I don't know.
Is it hurt?
There's no wound. It's not his own.
I've never seen a man cut before. It's so small.
It doesn't.
Right, so the first thing I noticed about this movie was its incredible graphics. So they're really cool. They make the animals look kind of human-like. It almost comes really close to dipping into Uncanny Valley in some cases, but I give it a pass. I personally like the graphics. I think it looks really neat. It's really cool style. I do like it. Really realistic, really gory, and that's one of the things I really like about this movie. And you notice with this particular scene, I really liked how they did the blood on the child. It shows the very the nature of this movie. It shows pretty much how dangerous things are in the jungle. So it's not playing an easy game here at all.
Evening, Nisha. V-hand. It's a lovely night, isn't it?
What is it that you want, Tabaki?
What's that I smell? Fresh kill.
If it's bones you're after, look elsewhere. We have enough mouths to feed.
I meant no harm, Nisha.
Alright, so he is one of my favorite characters. And you want to know the tragedy? He plays absolutely no major part at all in this movie. He's just kind of there. Like, if you removed him, it would make absolutely no difference. His character design is just so interesting. He's just so, he has one line that's really cool, and I'll get to that later. But that's it. And it's just, he's pointless, you know? But he looks so interesting. I mean, yeah, of course he's the usual negative depiction of hyenas, which is what we always see, and I'm sick of, because hyenas really are not that bad. But that's my own biologist sort of ranty thing. But in the context of the video, in the movie, in terms of character design, he is a pretty neat looking villain. It would have been so much better if he played more of a part, but he doesn't. One of the major tragedies of this movie, in my opinion, anyway. Also, I was really confused as to whether or not he was a wolf or a hyena for the longest time in the movie. Like, up until that point of that line that I'll mention later, I had no idea. I'm like, are you a wolf that ended up getting, like, kicked to the curb? And I should have gotten my indication by his laughter and all of that. But wolves can easily laugh. I mean, whatever. But I finally caught on.
So who here speaks for the cub?
I speak for the cub. The law states that the life of a cub may be bought.
Alright, so I'll get into some story now and explaining what happened with that scene. By the way, I want to comment, the design of Bajira looks so cool. I really like it. So essentially what happens is Mowgli's parents were murdered by, what's his name, Shere Khan. And, you know, the usual. And he was found by Bajira, who brought him to the wolf pack, and Mother Wolf and Father Wolf want to adopt him. In this story, though, he has to be accepted into the pack. Someone has to speak for him, speak for the cub. That's what Mowgli is. He's not a wolf, so it comes into conflict, but eventually they accept it, yada yada yada. He goes into this wolf training. So, actually, after I show you this little snippet, I'll explain what that training really is.
Here.
not a wolf. He has no say.
Who's the teacher of your cubs that makes him a member of the pack?
Look, I ain't speaking for no man cub.
Alright, so I want to comment on the design of Baloo. It is so different from what we're used to, but it looks so neat. He has changed so much in this movie, but I actually don't mind it. He looks so dangerous as a bear, and he's supposed to be. He's a big bear. He's got his, like, burn-looking face, and his teeth, just his lower lip hanging off. He looks like he's gonna rip your throat out. Very cool for a bear design. I like it personally. The voice actor also did a really good job with him. Caught me off guard quite a bit. So he's essentially the trainer of the wolves and how to be part of the pack. So in order to get accepted into the pack, you have to outrun the hunter, Bagheera. Because in the jungle, you're the hunter, but you're also the hunted. You're predator and prey at all times. So you have to, in order to be accepted into the pack, outrun a predator and survive, and then, ooh, you're in. So Baloo's the one that trains you to do that in this movie.
Wait. We look them in the eye, so that the soul doesn't depart alone.
Okay, before I go any further, I did want to mention this is my all-time favorite scene of the movie, hands down. It's got such a beautiful philosophy. So before he said that, Bagheera had said, we don't ever hunt for sport, we only hunt for what we need. And while this movie has its many flaws, I mean, that scene is just really important. I personally, it hit me. And I hold a lot of value in that sort of thing, so... Very, very wonderful scene. My favorite scene of the movie. So beautiful. I mean, there's so many beautiful scenes in this movie. It's too bad the story has to tank midway. But this scene in particular, absolutely amazing. I love it so much.
Hey, Mowgli! Boot, what are you doing? Nothing. Hey, do you want to play? Gotcha! Oh, I nearly had you.
So, that's Boot. Two things. I'm just not gonna be cruel to you guys. So, A, you'll hear that scream a lot if you watch this movie. A lot. B, Boot doesn't survive. No, he doesn't. At all. So, a recurring theme in this movie is that Mowgli and Boot are bullied heavily by the other wolves in the wolf pack. It's quite brutal. It's kind of sad. And, but it happens. And you'd think that he'd have a little story arc where he'd be able to show his true colors. Get it? Because, anyway. And be really neat and, like, be able to rise above that and show them. No, I'll show you why later, that he doesn't. Don't get attached to him, like I did. Yep, not a happy camper. Anyway, so again, themes like that, the recurring theme of them getting bullied or their Mowgli going through training and all of that. So we get to the day of the training, of course, and Bagheera is continuously trying to convince Mowgli to go to the man village, and he says essentially that, well, if you don't pass this test, will you go to the man village? Mowgli obviously just kind of doesn't say anything. He doesn't really agree. Time comes, and Bagheera gets into this very interesting hunting mindset. So he hunts Mowgli down, and Mowgli doesn't end up passing the test. Come to find out, he is in Bagheera, specifically targeted Mowgli in this test where there were a bunch of wolves running away. He specifically targeted Mowgli because he wanted him to go to the man village so he'd be safer.
You let your guard down. I told you, never let your guard down.
He's only chasing me. He targeted me. He knows I'm the weakest.
And Baloo was absolutely just pissed off. And the reasoning behind that was because all of his wolves that he's trained pass. But this is like the first time Mowgli does not. Or, well, a wolf, quote-unquote, does not pass. So Baloo's pissed off, Mowgli's pissed off, everyone's really pissed off. Mowgli runs off. And such like that. So first, told you so about the screaming. The little wolf does that so many times. I should just, before I end the video, just count up how many times he screams and just show like little snippets every time he screams. I might do that just for the funsies. Anyway, so at this point, Mowgli has run off and he is being tempted by fruit by monkeys, and he gets taken up. So at this point, you'd be thinking to yourself, wow, I get to see King Louie in these graphics? This is gonna be really cool. Oh my god. No, you don't. There is no King Louie. You heard me right. No King Louie, one of the coolest characters in the Jungle Book. At least I mean the original Disney with the original animation style, and then the remake they did a really good job. I didn't ever read the book, but I saw both of those movies, and he was so cool. I loved him. But guess what? There is no such king. There is nothing. No, instead they go with all of the monkeys who are working for Shere Khan apparently, and brought them to him. And I'm just like, what? So this is where the story starts getting a little bit questionable, and this is where it starts tanking hardcore. I think at this point it marks the downward trend, the downward spiral, not going well. And so Mowgli is saved by Kaa, and I'll show you a scene coming up about that. And this is a really neat scene. So even though the monkey scene is really dumb, the Kaa scene is one of the final really good scenes in this movie before it starts to just, yeah.
Well, look who's here. It's the man cub. His destiny is still uncertain. Are you afraid of me, man cub?
No.
Sometimes fear is the only intelligent response. Not quite a wolf, not quite a man, or neither, or both. You grow a little older. Every day, you come a little closer. One day you will fight and kill. One day you will speak, and the jungle will listen.
So this is the scene that got me hooked into watching this video. It is my second favorite scene of this movie. I absolutely love it. It is such a cool depiction of Kaa. And I'm thinking that Kaa is some sort of ancient deity in this movie of some sort. I mean, she can see everything. She's been here for so long. So I think she's sort of some sort of ancient deity of the jungle. Really like it. I'm not sure. I don't think she's a really malevolent force. I think she's pretty neutral. She just likes watching. So she could have killed Mowgli there, but he might be the savior of the jungle in that whole prophecy, so she's not gonna do that. So yeah, very cool scene, really neat. I absolutely loved it, and pretty much the last good scene of this movie, unfortunately.
Well, taste your blood, man cub. Leave.
Alright, so according to jungle rules, or whatever, Mowgli's not allowed to use fire against the wolves, or anyone, really, even if there's an issue. And what happens is, Mr. Wolfbro dude, the leader, he ended up missing his kill, as you saw in the most previous scene, and Shere Khan, who was an asshole, decided to march up and be like, well, guess what? You should be dethroned. So, essentially, he pisses off everyone, as usual, and Mowgli runs off, grabs some fire, and scares him off. But that's a big no-no, again, because this is against the wolf rules, apparently, and oh yikes. Mowgli's forced to run off because he did something wrong, even though he saved the entire pack from the tiger and could have ended this entire giant conflict, but no, the wolf rules dictate that you're not allowed to ever do that, so we're gonna just walk that off. So you'll notice something in the next scene that's very strange and peculiar. See if you notice it like I did. Did you notice it? Is it the animal expressions? No. No. Maybe it's the fire that's burning in the middle of a freaking thunderstorm. Pouring rain and the fire is still not going out. That is some magic. He is a flippin' mage. Mowgli is. Damn. And then when he gets to the villagers, all of their fires are going too. We've got an entire just cast of mages here. Just the thunderstorm is wailing on them, and nope, that fire keeps going. So that kind of ruined that emotional scene for me. I mean, it was supposed to be a bit emotional, and I just could not stop paying attention to the fact that there was fire burning like crazy with no possible way of doing so. I mean, he doesn't have oil, he's on a stick. It just doesn't make any sense, so that's when it just downhill right there. Splat. And it just, yikes.
I don't have any friends neither. But we have each other. And we're kind of the same, you know.
We're not the same.
Of course we are. Because you're special and I'm special.
We're not special! Don't you get it? We'll never be one of them. We're freaks. You're not special, Boot. It's just something your mother tells you to make you feel better about yourself because you came out wrong!
Poor Boot. It'd be really nice if Mowgli was able to say sorry for what he said, and if everything would end up alright in the end. That's not what happens. This is the last time you'll see him.
Did you smell the blood, mankind? Your kind use dark magic, mankind.
They're not my kind.
Sometimes I dream I'm a tiger, but I always wake up a hyena.
Okay, so that scene actually happened earlier in the movie, but I forgot to bring it up in the proper time order. It was basically after Mowgli found out that he was not, in fact, a wolf. Shocker, right? Anyway, and that's pretty much the last scene the hyena's relevant, so take it as a, look at me, I'm relevant. So this is also a scene when I didn't show that entire part, where you're introduced to the poacher slash hunter dude. That's one of the antagonists of the movie, also someone that could have completely been removed and had absolutely no fucking point. Except to, I guess, piss off people. I mean, because he did. But yeah, so now you're going to see a series of why I think this movie is really, really bad, aside from the fire. Alright, so rather than having any common sense and treating a child, keyword child, that came out of the jungle with wounds all over him, let's shove him into an iron cage without any bedding at all. and not expect him to get really pissy. And then, and you didn't see this, but it happened, let's have kids throw rocks at him and laugh. Because that's not gonna, you know, come to bite you later. And even if it doesn't, he's a kid. He's a child. Really? Is this entire village just full of absolute fucking stupidity? I mean, really.
Hello, little brother.
I knew you'd come. I knew you'd rescue me.
Alright, Bagheera's gonna rescue Mowgli and get him out of that terrible cage that he clearly is very miserable in. And he's being mistreated, so finally, Bagheera to save the day, right?
Mowgli, I've not come to rescue you. I've come to tell you to stay.
What?
So let me get this straight. Mowgli is in a cage right now, being severely mistreated, and you're going to leave him there because it's somehow safer for him, even though he's locked in a cage and could have actually... It just doesn't make sense. And he goes off on this tangent about how he used to be owned by some prince and has a collar scar still, or whatever, and then he eventually laid down and accepted it, and everything was okay in the end. It just... What's the message she's trying to send to Mowgli here? Just lay down and accept it? Just join him? It just, what kind of, I mean, the messages in the beginning of the movie were so much better, and now it's just, what? What? Okay, I'm gonna speed right on through this stuff. So essentially he gives a kid that he just caged up a knife, who was somehow able to immediately learn magically how to use it by the shh. Those are the magic words. Shh. To teach anyone anything. Shh. Say it with me. Don't. So, alright, so he gives the kid a knife and he learns fast. Great. So now I'm gonna just speed through what happens next. He learns to integrate into the village, blah blah blah, somehow magically really learning language extremely fast, even though he's never grown up around human language, but now somehow he has the capability of learning it extremely fast, even after being disconnected from society for so long. But alright, I guess that's a pass because that happened in the other Jungle Books too. Why not? Anyway, so this hunter-poacher dude is an antagonist, and it's not really built up as a really good antagonist. He wants to kill the tiger. He ended up only missing the elephant and ended up chopping off his tusk somehow with a bullet. I don't even know if that's remotely possible. Just hitting... Wouldn't the bullet get wedged in the tusk and not knock it off? Anyway, that's the dumbest thing ever. And so he's seen as the antagonist. The entire village is also tortured by the tiger, so both him and Shere Khan are established as the major antagonists, killing the cattle. And also this is a giant issue because Mowgli, now integrated into the village, is approached by a wolf who's like, yo, Mowgli, so there's a giant issue here. Shere Khan's killing off all the humans' cattle, and we're worried that the humans are going to blame us and come kill us in the jungle. So Mowgli just is like, oh no, screw you, you kind of abandoned me, so I don't care about you anymore. Completely just destroying his personality or any hope of character growth, but alright. And after a lot, and I mean a lot of convincing, mostly from a scene you'll see next, he finally decides, okay, sure, I'll go do it. Yeah.
Beautiful, isn't he?
So first, I told you so. Don't get attached to Boot. Because, yeah, rather than feeling better, showing that even though you have your flaws, no, he just gets killed after being yelled at by Mowgli, which is wonderful, beautiful, happy ending there. Even though they shoved a happy ending at us, that was really dumb anyway at the end of the movie, but no happy ending for Boot. By the way, how do they know what to name the little wolf pup Boot, by the way, if they've never had contact with humans? Alright, I mean, sure. But yeah. Oh, and this is also where the poachers establishes, oh my god, he's totally, truly evil. And I hate poachers. Yeah, they're totally, truly evil. I hate them, but like, this cliche was overplayed as fuck in this video. I mean, they could have done something so much better. This is just such a stupid... It's just so badly done. It's really cliche, really boring. I mean, we get it. It's just so stupid. You couldn't have done something different, like... I don't know, why couldn't that hyena have been more of a major antagonist? You have to make this guy be really dumb? So what if it was in the books or somewhere else? It just is so bad. It's just a bad job. Bad job. Alright, so that's the end. Yep, pretty interesting ending there. So what you didn't see and I didn't show because it's just pointless is the poacher ended up getting charged by the elephant that he took the tusk off of, which was great, sure. I mean, it was kind of meh in my opinion anyway. The tiger suddenly springs up, almost gets Mowgli, but no, Mowgli saves the day. Awesome. It was a very heartless ending. I thought that the boot thing was entirely unnecessary. It just... I don't know. It's just, I mean, and then he goes off into the jungle and just forgets about the humans. So I thought that he was going to show the humans the value of the jungle and unite them. I mean, maybe the humans would have joined the jungle again and work with these really magnificent animals and learn the value of, you know, hunting not for sport but for only what you need and just be a part of the jungle. That's not what happened though. I mean, first Mowgli integrates after being shut into a cage, by the way, into this human village and is treated fine after all of that, then declines to help the jungle animals, then ends up joining them again, and then ignores the entire human village. He didn't ban the jungle and humans together at all. It was just bad. So if I had a choice, if I were to make it better, completely cut out the poacher. Entirely pointless character to have. It was just a dumb antagonist, really boring. I hated it. I would have had the hyena play a way bigger antagonistic part, and I would have had him betray Shere Khan, somehow manage to end up killing him. I mean, there was a tiger pit in the story at one point. He could have somehow tricked Shere Khan into dying in that, shown his strength, therefore, to some of the betrayer wolves that were at jerks to the leader wolf, and have had the entire pack turn against them, led by him, the hyena, who would have killed the mighty tiger. Or he could have found other hyenas, because usually hyenas aren't working alone, but apparently he was a loner. There are so many ways he could have just rose to the occasion, been such a really interesting villain. He looked like a really bad villain. He looked more interesting than Shere Khan, which was the cliche typical, oh, I'm just pissed off, I'm gonna be angry. No, he could have been the underdog, just completely abused and just risen to power and just taken it, you know? It would have been so interesting. But no, it had to be a cliche, boring ending that just... I didn't like it. So, it's a beautiful video, beautiful movie, I mean. Really good visuals, but other than that, doesn't have much going for it, so... Hope you liked my first keep saying video, movie review. I'll continue to do more if people like it. I hope I did it justice, and yeah, so thank you for watching all the way through. Congratulations. Bye.